What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Keegan and Company podcast, where it is all around the company we keep. This podcast is powered by Famous Nutrition. Shop online at famousnutrition.com and use TRY30 for 30% off to feel famously good today. Enjoy the episode.
Today is a very special conversation. Today we are joined by Kieran Ryan, Head of Partnerships and New Business at Movember. Movember is a mental health organisation that dives into prostate cancer as well as testicular cancer. Been an ambassador for Movember for the last 9 years now. It's something that I'm very, very proud of, and I'm super excited to let you guys in and have a little listen to this conversation with Ryan. Today's episode is an important one. It's about mates. It's about men. It's about the importance of having tough conversation. Kieran opens up about losing two of his best mates back to back and how he used running an ultra marathon to help him process and grieve the loss, and off the back of that, learning that his dad had depression for decades. I think it was such a beautiful conversation, and I think I can almost promise that you'll walk away with understanding why vulnerability can actually be a strength and how we can start showing up for people in our lives that we really love. Again, this is a disclaimer. There is conversations of suicide and suicide ideation. So if this is triggering at all, please, you can contact Lifeline at 13 11 14, or you can head over to Movember that have some incredible resources that you can do a deep dive into. Before we do a deep dive into this conversation, if you're a returning listener or if you have enjoyed any of these conversations, can I get you to hit that little subscribe button? It actually does let us have these conversations. It lets us grow this show, and I would appreciate it more than you will ever know. So thank you so much for being here, and I really think that you're going to enjoy this conversation. Enjoy.
Cheers, mate. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Good to be here.
Hey, this is mate, this is so sick. Thank you so much for making the way from Melbourne to sunny Brisbane. We're here at the South Wharf, Brisbane.
Yeah.
Mate, pumped to have you here, brother.
Mate, I'm stoked. Thank you. When the opportunity came around to sit down and chat to you, I absolutely jumped at it. One, from a Movember perspective, but then also from a personal perspective as well. I think you're a ripping bloke doing some amazing things. So the opportunity to sit down.
Mate,
it's a fat.
I think I need to have you on more often just to pump me up. And hey, the mode's looking really good, hey?
It's there. Running a little Flanno 5K event later in the month.
Yeah.
Western theme. So I'm trying to grow like a bit of a Western style moustache.
Gotcha.
Almost took it off this morning though. When I was looking in the mirror, I was like, you know what? That's just going to come off because I feel dirty.
Nice.
We'll see.
Mate, tell me about the events that you've got coming up personally this month. You said, where for people who are listening, this is the start of Movember.
Yeah.
Recording, pretty early in the month. So this episode will probably go out maybe mid back end of the month.
Yeah.
Just for people who are listening. So, mate, what have you got coming up personally, event-wise?
Yeah, personally, the Points Pinnacle, the world's toughest half marathon.
So
I've done that since 2013.
Really?
Amazing community down there. It was the first group of people that I met outside of my mates that supported Movember.
Gotcha.
I had an email from the team at Movember before I worked here. And they said, there's a group of guys down in Hobart that run up a mountain. You've just finished a 100K run. Maybe you want to do that next year. Went down, fell in love with the boys and the girls down there, fell in love with the mountain, the community, and have been going down, ever since. And then when I first started working at Movember, I'd come off doing a 100-kilometre run and a cycling event and thought, I'm just feeling a bit bad. I haven't really done much from a fundraising point of view.
Yeah.
I'd not long moved to Melbourne and started this event called the Flanno 5K. Basically, it starts at a pub, it goes for 5K, you wear a flannelette shirt, and the whole idea is just bringing people together.
Yeah.
And there's an award that's like best dressed. We've had Olympians run with us. We've had like world-class athletes, but they never get the prizes because they don't look any good. It's always like the best dressed that get prizes. So it's in its 9th year this year. There's 12 events happening around Australia and the globe. So that'll be something I'm looking forward to. And then the end of the month is More Than a Run, which is just something that is incredible. And to think that we're going to end here, Queen's Wharf in Brisbane, hopefully the weather's like
this. Yeah.
We just checked out the pool and it looks good, Keegan.
Mate, it's such a beautiful little area, and the fact that we're going to have like however many people on this, like on the Queen's Wharf, like running just a constant lap. And that's the beauty, that's the best thing that I love about that, is because it's not like you've got a whole 50K stretch where you might not see everyone. It's what, 2.5K, 3 loop, where you're just going to be going, so, and then you can like catch up, leaning on crew. I'll be jumping on I'll be looking out for you as well. So mate, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to be here. And especially if it's like this, we're going to be pumping.
Yeah.
Mate, even back to Points of Pinnacle, because I thought you guys with Movember only started to get a part of it in the last couple of years, the last 2 years. But were you doing it beforehand?
Yeah. So before I worked at Movember, I was going down and would take like groups of mates down there.
Yep.
I went down in 2013, had this amazing time, came home. I was still living in regional Victoria and was telling my mates, this is the best thing to be involved in. It's a running event, but it's not really a running event. Like, yes, it's hard, but it's so fun to do. So for, 7 years, it was like going down, running it before I started working at Movember. 1 year I took like 30 mates down there,
Man.
Which was just chaos. Yeah, like absolute bedlam. Everyone had moustaches. Yeah. Everyone running to the top of the mountain. Obviously the beers at the top are good. But our involvement with the Points of Pinnacle has probably started or gotten stronger from like an official perspective over the last 10 years when I've been at Movember, which is great.
And it's very on brand, because the Points of Pinnacle, I was lucky enough to get involved with it last year, which it was one of the funnest running events that I'd been a part of. Not that I'm obviously pretty fresh to the running scene. Yeah. First half marathon.
Yeah. Half marathon?
It was my first half marathon. I remember it was either yourself or someone from Movember, I think it was maybe Caitlin. They reached out and they're like, "Oh, would you like to do a half marathon for Movember?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I've just started to get into running. Half is like a nice little distance for me to get into. Yeah. And then I Googled it and it said world's hardest half marathon. What are they trying to do to me here? And it was that, and too, like, it was so awesome because I came into it, didn't really know anyone off the bat, but then had the whole Movember run club scene that was there. Yeah. Everyone in the singlets. It was awesome. It was such a vibe. And then I met 3 guys, Josh, Jimmy, and Jacob. Yeah. And Jacob and Jimmy were running with the big inflatable moustache. Yeah. And they're like, and they were just going to go, I think, kilometre for kilometre. And then me and Josh were like, do you boys need a hand at all by any chance? And they're like, yeah, like actually we do, because it was a lot harder than they expected, but it was awesome because us 4 were kind of like stuck together as we were going up this mountain. And it was so cool because we were yelling out to people. Obviously you run past the walkers that are going as well. So we just had this awesome vibe and it was so fun. Like, and even the last 2 kilometers, because for anyone who's listening, Point of Pinnacle, it's like 22K is just uphill. Up Mount Wellington in Tasmania. So it's a tough race. That's why it's the world's toughest marathon. But even the last 2 kilometers, we got to the top. Some of us were like trying to walk a little bit because we're doing it a bit tough. And then we got there and it's just a vibe on the top. Everyone's having beers. And I think that is so suited for Movember. Like, it's so on brand. Like, it's loud, it's exciting. It's, you know, we're not away in the corner. It's like, let's be loud and let's have these conversations and let's do it.
Totally. And that's the thing that is so great about the Points of Pinnacle. Tim and Kim that run and own the event. Kim Gillard is one of the best athletes that Australia has ever produced for like a running sense. So I feel like he gets it. He knows to put on, or how to put on, world-class events. But then it's this community like undercurrent to it that is just, I think, the bit that captivates you for it. Like, you would have run past so many little kids out on the street having their breakfast, just cheering you on. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's a stage of the Tour de France where there's just mobs of people that are out on the sideline. They just want to see you get to the top, and that camaraderie. You said it earlier, which is the best. The walkers start, like an hour before the runners. You get to pass all of them. So you're cheering them on. They're cheering you on. It's just this like lovely little ecosystem of support and camaraderie that is just this weird bubble because everyone's having a shit time because it's so tough, which they're doing it for each other, which is awesome.
It's beautiful. And mate, tell me, because you obviously oversee partnerships and your business for Movember. Tell me about how you navigate these types of, because there's so many different types of running events, community events, fundraising events, and I think more so how it kind of ties into like more than a run that's coming up. Like, how do you personally, or how does the Movember team look at structuring a partnership? Because I imagine there's so many events to choose from. How do you pick which ones to be a part of?
Good question, mate. Good question. Hard question. Because I feel like there's a new running event that's popping up every second week or every week that is going to be bigger than Ben Hur. And my background, like, I have been running since I was probably 6, but competitively probably 13. So I feel like I have a finger on the pulse in regards to the running space. So when we look at it from a partnership lens at Movember, the first thing that the team and I look at is, what are the events that, one, people are interested in, but two, what are the events that have a culture? There's an undercurrent of community, that they're not transactional events. They're not events that are just trying to take your money. Yeah. They're putting on an event. They're trying to cash in on what is this running boom that's currently happening. The other thing that we look at is the experience. What does that event have from an experience point of view that Movember can either add value to, or we can bring in our own experience to that for our participant?
Gotcha.
The other thing we look at is what are the events that can enable Movember to have greater conversations with more people en masse. So we partner with Black Sheep on the Black Sheep Man Ride, which is locally based here in Brisbane, that has 16 rides that take place all across the globe, which is incredible. The Sydney Marathon, the Point to Pinnacle are our major activities, as well as More Than a Run. So for us, it's very much, what are those events that have this undercurrent of culture, community that we can add to, and that they're open to Movember bringing in our uniqueness to it, our tone of voice, the top of Mount Wellington, carrying on with no boombox. That energy, that vibe is created by humans that are just having the greatest time. And that, let us activate in a way that is unique to Movember. We love working with events, organizations, people that are good people, that are easy to work with, and who we're working with, they're easy to work with. They're incredible people. Their events are fantastic. We've got something in the pipe for next year, which we're waiting to announce, which will add to that portfolio or bench of activities, which again will have Movember on the map of, hey, you know what, if you want to take part in an endurance event or a marathon, and it's very hard to get spots these days, Keegan, into world major marathons or marathons as a whole. So to have Movember playing in that space where people can go, shit, I've missed out on the ballot, but you know what, I actually care about men's health, or actually my mate is going through a tough time, so I'm going to fundraise, or Movember makes sense. So now we've got this opportunity to give people another way of supporting Movember, whether that's starting conversations or fundraising, whilst doing an event that they wanted to do, may not have gotten in the traditional way of entering a lottery, getting it pulled out. Now there's a way that they can do that. And we're putting together an experience around that we can bring people into. What you mentioned last year at the Point to Pinnacle, you didn't know anyone going down, but you're left with mates, lifelong mates. I think you and I had spoken to each other maybe a handful of times before that, but you leave them out, and then you just part of this like amazing community, and you're leaving with friends. And that's what we're trying to create with each of the events that we're partnering with. And More Than Run is a brilliant example of that, because the community that comes together, not only here in Brisbane at the end of the month, but across the globe, is incredible. Some people don't see each other 12 months of the year, but they see each other for that one day, that More Than a Run day, that Point to Pinnacle day. And it's this amazing moment of reconnection, that feeling of seeing a friend that you only saw yesterday. And there's something special in that, or moving in that.
I think there's also something special in like doing something hard with someone as well, right? Like you would probably know better than anyone, having done your background in running in ultra marathon space. What do you think it is about doing something hard, like that shared hard experience that allows you to have typically probably more like open-ended, vulnerable conversation, especially if you've been on a trail for, 10 plus hours, or even for a 5-10K, even a sauna. I think it's just doing something hard with someone. I don't know what it is, but that kind of allows you to have those really beautiful conversations. What are your thoughts around that?
I think it strips away ego. I think it strips away a lot of things where you're in this very vulnerable state of exercise or movement or challenge, where you're pushing yourself to do something you may not have ever done before, that you're finding hard, and you're doing it next to somebody And your reasons might be totally different, but you're having this shared experience of, this is very hard. I'm finding this tough, but I'm working through it, and I'm working through it with you.
Yeah.
And then the conversations that flow from that are a lot easier. They're a lot deeper. They're a lot more potentially meaningful because that mask, the ego has been stripped away. You can't hide that you're going through a tough time. You know, you might go from like chitter-chat to like, hey, yeah, no, I'm okay. Yeah, no, I'm top of the world. You're not. You're having a tough time. You're struggling to breathe, but that's okay. And I'm going to be there with you. And I think the other thing with that type of activity is the patches in the moments. You spoke about like trails, and we could be into it. And for 5 hours, we're both hunky-dory, we're feeling really good. But then for 2 hours, I fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, but it's your support, like you're beside me.
Yeah.
You're reminding me, hey, have a drink. Yeah. Hey, have this gel. I ran the Leadville 100 a couple of years ago in Colorado. I didn't finish it. It's the only time I haven't finished a race.
Really?
I got timed out.
Solid.
And heartbreaking. It took me 9 years to get into the race, and I was running along with Dan Churchill. He's like chef, ripping bloke, right?
Yeah.
So funny story. We're like at this start line. There's 800 people. We start running. We're probably 2 miles into this thing, and we're running along. And there's a group of us, and there's 2 Australians in this group, me and Dan. And this American guy goes, "Oh, you're both Australian?" And I was like, "Yeah, mate, I'm Keez, how are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, Dan." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, how are you, mate? What's going on? What are you doing here?" We're like talking about running. He's like, "Well, you're from Australia." I'm like, "Oh, you wouldn't know it. It's like this very small like region, the Grampians." And he goes, "Oh, I know the Grampians." I'm like, "How do you know the Grampians?" He goes, "Do you know a guy by the name of Kale?" I'm like, "Yeah, Evans." I go, "I went to school with him." And he goes, "I started a cafe with him in New York." I'm like, "Charlie Street." I was like, "Mate, I was there 2 years ago." So in this like weird environment, Dan and I have connected. But then for probably the next 4 hours, we were like yo-yoing with each other. And we would just hear this voice. I would yell out, "Dan, don't forget to drink." And then, you know, an hour later, he'd be like, "Hey, Kieran, don't forget to eat." And it's just this like shared connection of you're doing tough things together. But you know you're out there, and you know what, there's this voice that's going to be up the road or down the road that is singing out to you like, "Hey, don't forget this." And it's like, oh, nice reminder. And I think that's what brings people together, or what fosters relationships very quickly whilst doing endurance activities or running activities, because you get to this point of exhaustion or a point of, hey, you know what, we're pretty bare now. We're pretty like, we're here. We're both at that limit. So we're okay being vulnerable with each other.
That was kind of my very first experience getting involved with like any kind of running thing in general. I mean, I signed up to City's City, like a really nice 14 club. When I finished footy, and I was just like, oh, I need to keep fit. I need to do something. So I signed up for City to Surf and met a guy called Ben on the start line, and we were just talking about. I think we were talking about things that we had in common, like some random thing. And so we spent like the whole like race just running your exact same thing, like bouncing back and forth. How you feeling? We're on Heartbreak Hill. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this thing. I was like, nah, it's all right. We're going. And then he's like, hey, have my AirPod. Like, we'll share an AirPod. And I'd never met before. And then we linked up at the end of the race, and we're like, mate, like, thanks so much. It was awesome meeting you. And he's like, have you heard of the UTA? Like the UTA, like an ultra in the Blue Mountains? I was like, no. He's like, mate, we should go do the 22, like the 22 trail. And I was like, that would be awesome. So we ended up having a look. We kept in touch, and the 22 was sold out for that year, but the 50 was available. So he's like, mate, let's just, it's 10 weeks away. Let's just sign up and we'll just go do it. And he was living in Newcastle and I was Sydney at the time, but we'd like meet up on a weekend, either Newcastle or Sydney, run together. And then we did the UTA together. And it was all off the back of just that one race. It was kind of like that one experience. And so I think about it, it's like, well, when people say, well, how do I get into these things? It's like, how do I, I see all these people doing these marathons and half marathons. It's like, it's just a start. Like it might be, and that's why I think More Than a Run's really cool, because they've got the 10K option, they've got the 30K option, and they've got the 60K option. So you've got different modalities and different entry points to get in and be fit and keep doing those things. For you, what was your entry point to running? You said that you were running in the early days, how did you start?
Literally at school.
Yeah.
Just school cross country.
Yeah.
And I think with most things when you're young, you sort of gravitate to what you're good at or what you've got an interest in or you like. I don't know if you know that it's a passion when you're 6 years old or you're young in your life. But I remember I used to run in a pair of like Chuck Taylor lows at the school cross country and just had a great time. Loved it. Was out there just running. Thought it was fun. Thought it was cool. Thought it was a nice break from the classroom, which was great. And then as I got older, started to have some success and then thought, oh, okay, this might be an avenue to explore more opportunities.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town of 6,000 people. It is a sports mad town. Footy, cricket, not many people doing athletics at the time. And then through high school, had some success, won a handful of state championships as a junior, raced at like a junior national level. And then I think I just fell in love with it. I love the idea of just being out. There's a state forest where I grew up and the Grampians are just down the road and I could be out immersed in nature. This is before iPads, this is before smartwatches, before Garmin's. Used to run a little Nike Timex type setup where it was all off times, not heart rates or anything like that. And it was liberating. And it was something that I felt I could express myself in. It was my way of expression. Could put my race shoes on, stand on start line and just felt like I was in control. And whatever happened, it was just down to me. And I think running, I still think it does give people these lessons. What you get out or what you put in is what you get out. Teaches you discipline, teaches you a whole host of things. And running for me has always been, on reflection, has always been something that I run if I'm happy, I run if I'm sad, I run if I need to work through any problems. I go for a run if I've had a difficult conversation with somebody. I'm like, oh, okay. How did I show up in that conversation? What could I have said differently?
As a processing tool?
Yeah, as a processing tool. Which is interesting because there's so many facets to running. There's like wanting and trying to be competitive with yourself, competitive with people around you, but then also using it as that tool to, sweet, how can I work through some things that I need to work through?
Interesting.
And I like it. It's fun.
It reminds me, we did a podcast with a guy called Jeff Wilson. He's an adventurer, explorer. Actually, we're into the backcountry of Threadbar.
Oh, is this where you're camping?
That's where we're camping. Yeah. So we're in the backcountry of Threadbar, and he said a very similar thing. He's just like, when there's a big decision I have to make, or when I've got like a lot of controversy in my life, when things are hard, he's like, I just come out here for as long as I need, just to go. It might be a day, it might be a couple of days, but the ability to really sit in it with no other distractions was his way of being able to process things. Like typically by the end of it, I've come to my conclusion, my thought process, whatever the thing was. But that's what he used, and I love when you said like, oh, I use it as like a emotional regulator. That's so interesting because I imagine having a tool like that in a tool belt is also, because I always think when we have these types of conversations, what are the little tools and little tricks that people can grab and take and implement into their own life? And I think that's awesome, especially with the rise of running at the moment. I wonder if that plays a part of why it's become so popular.
Maybe. And I think potentially it's a way of disconnecting as well. And it strips things back to the bare essentials. What do you need? Bit of oxygen, bit of water, day like today, a sun, like a sun hat or a shade or something. But it's pretty easy. It's pretty simplistic. And it's just a good reminder that there's a lot of noise that is going on around you 24/7. But for that moment that you're out running, you don't need that noise. It's just you, maybe some gels, bottle of water. Just how far your legs want to take you.
Man, I love that. The part of disconnecting. I've been I hate my phone at the moment, as you probably do as well. But I'm so stuck on it, and it takes so much of my time. And I actually, me and my partner, we went and bought like a little Nokia 3210. Have you seen it?
Yeah, unreal.
So we're like, the only reason I haven't made the jump yet is because I thought I could get the iMessage onto my iPad. So we've got an iPad just for like all that little like banking stuff, WhatsApps, all the things. But day to day, walking around with this little dumb phone, little Nokia,
I just fully like disconnecting. I listened to a podcast with the Imperfect when Ryan Sheldon. He did a very similar thing back in 2023. And he's like, mate, my ability to be able to not be on my phone all the time and think creatively, be present. The one part that got me was he was on his way to a friend's house for dinner. And typically he's like, oh, I'll walk there. It's like a 45-minute walk. Just like, if I had my phone, I would have listened to a podcast. I would have been texting. I would have been on social media. But instead, I was just walking and I was thinking of how excited I am to see my mate. And just like, the guy's a legend, like all the time anyway, but I was excited. I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to him about, and it was all the things. And it's like that thing of being able to be more present and getting off their phone. I think there's probably a lot of parents have related to that in some way of not wanting to be on their phone when their kids are around. And so I love that piece. And I'm like, well, how do we disconnect more? And I think running is definitely part of it as well.
Totally. Yeah, because when do you have time in a day that you're not surrounded by some sort of noise?
100%.
On the phone, on a Zoom, in a meeting.
Yeah.
You jump onto the train or the public transport, headphones go in. Like how regularly do you just sit on the public transport and just take in your surroundings?
Yeah.
Cool. I wonder what's going on with that person. What's happening here? Oh yeah, this is my stop. How's the bus driver sound today?
Yeah.
Like how often are you like getting involved or just like picking up on the vibe or the mood around you?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such an interesting space. And I love that because Movember have the Movember Institute, right, which looks into the literature, the evidence, and are doing a lot of their own studies, which is so cool, because you always think about with I think different types of charities, well, where does the funding actually go? And we were fortunate enough to do the couple of days with Movember at the start of the year, where it was heavy on education and where the funds are going, and education for us and how to articulate certain words and the whole thing. But the coolest part around that was, or what I found was the Movember Institute, and then also talking around the younger generation, especially males coming up, being so entrapped in social media and how it can be so influential. Have you had any key takeaways, or because you're in it, like you're in the environment when it comes to young men on social media?
Well, my biggest takeaway is the importance of, like, when I say social connection, I don't mean like online social. I mean like the social connection like we're having right now.
Yeah.
The sitting down and the talking and the connecting and having time to do that with people in real life. The Institute is, for somebody that's supported Movember for 17 years, it's been amazing to see the growth of Movember from an organisation that raises funds that then donates those funds to other organisations to fund work, to now being in a place where the funds that are being raised are being invested into Movember's own health institute. Yeah. Unbelievable. I cried, mate. I honestly cried when the announcement was made, and obviously across a lot of things and most things that happen at Movember, and knew that announcement was coming. Yeah. But I remember sitting at my desk and I just felt so proud that this organisation, this movement that my friends have been a part of, that you've been a part of, that probably a lot of people out there or in this building right now have either donated to or they've participated, that because of that, there's now a Movember Men's Health Institute that is an incubator. It's fast-tracking research. Yeah. It's making the impact that a lot of organisations are waiting for permission to do.
Yeah.
We're driving that forward. Yeah. As somebody that's like quite buzzy, that wants to like keep moving, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's next? To see that happen due to funding from community people that are opening their wallets to donate, as well as our partners, to see that, to hear that announcement, and to see the specialists that are in the building at Movember. Yeah. So I sometimes sit around the kitchen table at lunchtime. Yeah. I don't say a word, Keegan, because I'm just like, fucking hell, what's this conversation? Gee, I don't know about that. Wow.
Yeah.
Doctors, specialists, professors that are now in our house at Movember. Yeah. Some of the world's best talent in these fields: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, psychology. They're in the building. It's an educational day. You sit there and you're just blown away by what the team's working on, but also feel this sense of pride that, hey, this is because of this community movement that is Movember.
And as we said, there's so many different aspects to it. Like when we did those couple-day immersion, that sort of immersion, I was like, I didn't even know that you guys were in that type of reason, in like different regional communities, because you think like you've got the research side of it, but then you also got the direct impact and actually making impact in community, right? It's like having both of them there, I think it's great because you're having the conversations, but then you're also walking the walk as well.
Totally. Well, that's like growing up in a small country town, 6,000 people, the main employees in the town is an abattoirs and a gold mine.
Yeah.
When you look at a stereotypical masculine environment, that's the town I grew up in.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about programs. I remember when I very first started at Movember, this program was getting researched ahead of the game, which is a program designed to lift the resilience and mental health of athletes, coaches, umpires, and parents. So the program is really interesting that it targets not only the player, but every touch point around that player. So what happens a lot is there's programs that go out and they speak to the young player or they speak to the athlete, they upskill that player. They then go home and they open up to their parents and say, hey, you know what, I've really struggled today at training, or I'm not believing that I'm performing as well as I could be. And their parents go, oh, see how you play on Saturday.
Yeah.
So what this program does, it lifts that resiliency, it lifts that knowledge bank of everybody that young athlete is going to touch or going to come in contact with. And I remember 10 years ago, this program was getting researched. 2 years ago, we finally got it out. I say finally because I didn't know. Research takes so long. To have things like evidence-backed, like proven by evidence. This program now is out. It's in every state and territory across the country, focusing on AFL in regional, remote, metropolitan communities. And the stories that are coming out of it are just like beautiful stories. There was I could talk about this all day.
No, we got time. But
there's this community, regional community club, and one of the questions was like, hey, throw your hands up if you've got somebody in your life that you feel like you can turn to, that you can honestly open up and talk to about what's going on in your life. A few people put their hands up, young kids, like 17-year-old boys. A few put their hands up, and this one kid just stands up and he goes, hey, for everybody that didn't put your hand up, I'm your person. I'm your guy. You ever find yourself, and I'm getting emotional, you ever find yourself in a time of need or you need to talk to somebody, I'm your guy. Now, that wasn't the captain of the team. That was a kid that was sitting there going through the ahead of the game program, and he just stands up, takes the floor, grabs the mic. I'm your guy. You need somebody? That's me. You turn to me. And that touches me so much because I think, hey, this conversation that we're trying to change, we're trying to be a part of, we're trying to upskill these young kids to have the skills to reach out to a mate, to feel comfortable talking about what's going on in their lives, or to feel comfortable just to say, you know what, I'm having a shit one. I don't really need you to help. I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
And there's a kid that stands up in a room full of his peers and just goes, yeah, I'm your guy. Like, that's amazing, Keegan.
Yeah, mate, you can.
The work's getting through.
Or you can tell the passion like in your voice and the way you articulate it, right? And I think the bit that I loved about that was not that we need to be up when someone confides in someone, when someone's talking to someone. I feel like a lot of the time we feel like we need to fix it and we need to tell them what they should do, or they might be looking for answers. But the big part was just being there.
Yeah, just
being there.
Yeah, just being there.
We did a podcast with a guy called Aaron Booth and Nico Hines separately, and there was a time where Nico was in, and he's spoken obviously publicly about it on the podcast, and we can talk about it. But he was in a really tough spot, couldn't see the way out, and he was in a really bad spot. And our friend Aaron thought that he was come home, and you know the worst would have happened.
Yeah.
And he ends up rolling in, and Nico's in a like the fetal position, just crying, like on the trial, like just in a really bad spot. And I was like, well, what do you do? Like, goosebumps.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation? Like, what do you say? He's like, I didn't have to say any. I didn't say anything. I was just there. And then Nico rebutted that. And he's like, it wasn't the fact that he didn't say anything, but I knew that he was there for me. And I think that's so important because having people in our lives that's a big part, right? And it's sad where people think that they don't have it. And then you hear about this little kid and you guys are actually making an impact on a junior level that's going to flow on and compound through our community is the best bit, right? Yeah.
And I think when he gets to an age, gets to his 20s, gets to his 30s, think how well equipped he will be as a young man or these kids are that are going through their Head of the Game program as an example, how well equipped they are, and they'll be better equipped than we were at 20. They'll be a lot better equipped than our parents were when they were 20. And that's this wave of generational change that we're having. You know, the moustache gets, it gets laughed at sometimes, like, oh, hey, look what's on your top lip. Yeah. But it's these things that, like, one, start a conversation, they generate fundraising. Yeah. It's the moustache that then invests in these programs that then is changing the tide, that makes this young kid a better leader in his community, better brother, maybe a better husband at some stage if he decides to get married, a better leader in his community or the job that he's got. And that's the important stuff that, you know, at the bare roots or the grassroots of what Movember's doing, we're out. We're in the community. Yep, we're doing some incredible work from a government and advocacy point of view that changes legislation, that changes it from the top. Yeah. We've also got this bubbling away at the grassroots level that they're coming together. It's incredible to be a part of, to witness, to see that, and to be somebody that's so invested in raising funds to see where those funds are going.
What came first for you? Because I know when someone is super passionate about or is an advocate in a certain space, whether that's around men's mental health, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, but also domestic violence, whatever that thing, typically there's a personal relationship. Did you have a personal relationship before working with Movember, or were you in Movember and then saw the profound impact?
Yeah, I would say, like, most people come to Movember to have fun, to grow a mo, to take the piss out of their mates. In 2008, I started a Movember team just with my group of mates. We didn't sign up on Movember.com, which, huge party foul. If you're going to be involved,
feel public.
Put your top list on the line. Like, sign up, register. Like, get across to Movember.com and do that. Me and my mates, we didn't do that. We didn't raise any funds. We just we grew shitty mows. We're probably not long out of puberty and thought, fuck, what can we do? And then 2009, I started working at a summer camp in America. Had flown back in, the season had ended, and I was set to move in with one of my best mates at the time. I'd moved towns, had only known this guy for probably 12 months, but in a very short period of time became like one of my best mates. Yeah. He was always at the place that I was living in. We'd play poker together. He was horrible at it. But we just formed this like beautiful relationship, and he'd bought a house, and I was set to move him in. And he came into the store that I was working at the time. Came in, first time that I'd seen him since I was being home, and he just said to me, he's like, how was the trip? We got to connect. Can't wait to hear about it. Sure, you've got some stories. And one thing would joke about was, oh, we'd love to play poker in Vegas. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? Like, if we could get to Vegas and could both play poker together. Both horrible at it, to be honest. And I didn't think anything of it, Keegan. Served him, bought a packet of smokes, left, see you, mate. Yep, I'll text you, we'll get something in the diary. Like, excited that I've just seen my mate that I haven't seen since coming home. We've got all these plans, like, he's just bought a house, I'm going to move in with him. And then 5 hours later, two of my girlfriends came into the shop and just said, kids, have you heard about Mark? And I sort of stopped and looked at them, because I don't even know him as his nickname. Yeah. I was introduced to him as Watto, not Mark. So if anyone ever referred to him as Mark, I'd say, oh, fuck's Mark? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And I said, oh, Mark? Oh, what do you mean? And they said, oh, Watto, have you heard? I was like, oh, I saw him. I literally saw him a couple of hours ago. What do you mean? And they said, oh, he's taken his life. And I remember standing, Keegan, in aisle 10. I was a manager at Woolworths at the time. I was in aisle 10. And I just remember standing there just being shell-shocked. Didn't know how to process it in the moment. Still got a store to run. It's like 9:30 at night. Shop closes at 11. I'm like, shit. I've still got to run the shop, close it down, but I've just got this news that fucking my mate's died, and I've only seen him a couple of hours beforehand. And it was the first time that, well, I didn't believe it. So I called my mate that introduced me to Watto. I'm now the godfather of one of Alan's little boys, Bobby, who's just his little legend. I remember I called Alan and I was crying on the phone. I just said, Alan, and he just said, yeah, kids. Yeah. And I remember just being on this phone thinking, oh my God, we're in our 20s, early 20s at this stage. And it was the first time that I'd ever experienced loss outside of a family member, a grandparent. The loss I'd ever experienced was somebody that was at the end of their life, that had an amazing innings, and death that was next on the list.
Yeah.
They're in their 80s. They've had that amazing life. They've brought up a family, and I was now experiencing the death of somebody that was my age. Suicide was something that didn't know the word, wasn't familiar with it, certainly wasn't comfortable with it. Depression and anxiety, didn't know what they were. Had no idea. In 2009, suicide wasn't something that got spoken about openly. Depression certainly wasn't. Mental health wasn't. Anxiety wasn't. And I remember being so confused and talking to my group of mates around it as like, what has just happened?
Yeah.
Where has this come from? He was the life of the party. This guy was literally the life of the party. And Movember's now working with LSKD. We've just released this video of two men running beside each other, and watching the edits of that, I found myself crying at my desk.
Yeah.
Because the chatty guy, that's my mate.
Yeah.
That's my mate. That was him. You'd walk into a room, the place would light up. You'd gravitate to this big prick. You know, he was probably your height, and just this gorgeous, beautiful, loud, sometimes annoying, but like beautiful human.
Yeah.
And he decided to take his life. So my mates and I sort of took it upon ourselves. I was going out to like Rotary clubs. We were going back into our schools that we'd gone to. We were going to sporting groups, and we were just talking about the importance of staying socially connected.
Gotcha.
And just saying like, hey, you know, if you're ever going through a tough time, talk to your parents, talk to this. And looking back on it, it's like, it's a bit cringe. We fucking had no idea what we were talking about, but we were just going in and saying like, hey, stay socially connected, stay connected to your friends, talk to your family, like reach out to people when you're having a tough time.
Yeah.
And then 2010, well, Mark died, before AFL Grand Final. So that November in 2009, we all decided that, right, we did this thing last year. We didn't sign up. We didn't raise any money. Why don't we let's get into it this year?
Yeah.
We can now grow a moustache to honour Mark, to honour Watto, who's like no longer here. So we did that. And then 2012, another good friend of ours, Liam, he died by suicide as well. And it's funny how just moments in time just stay with you, and you remember exactly where you were and what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I was dating a girl in Melbourne at the time, and it was Sunday, and we were sitting on the couch watching 60 Minutes with her mum. We're like 23 years old. Like, what the fuck are we doing sitting on a couch at 23 watching 60 Minutes with somebody's mum? And I jumped up to go to the bathroom, and I thought, I'll just check my phone. I had 43 missed calls, all from my group of mates. And I was thinking, fucking hell, how's this? I'm on the couch watching 60 Minutes with the mother-in-law and my girlfriend, and my mates are obviously on the town. Like, my phone's lit up. It's like 7:30 at night.
Where are you? What are you doing?
Where are you? What are you doing? And I listened to the first voice message, and it was a friend of mine, and he was in tears, and he just said, I need to tell you, like, Liam's taken his life. I just remember being in that moment and just howling. Is absolutely howling. Two mates in a very short period of time had died by suicide, and none of us had any idea that they were doing it tough. Liam took his life a couple of days before his daughter's second birthday, and I remember just the power of friendship, right? Like, we got the news the next day. We were all in Liam's backyard with his partner and their little daughter. And I remember I was holding her in the backyard and just bouncing her on my knee, and had her mum's phone, and we were just flicking through the phone. And a photo stopped on Liam, and she just said, Dad, where's Dad? And what do you say? What do you say to this little tacker? And I remember I didn't know what to say. And I just looked at her mum, and she's like, looked at me, and I had tears just streaming down my cheeks. And she grabbed her daughter, and she said, Dad's no longer here, but he's always watching. And we walked out of this backyard, and I turned to my mates and I was like, this is so shit. We've got to do something. I don't know what, but we've got to do something. And I said to the boys, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to run 100K. And my mates are like, built like you. They're footballers. They're like big shoulders, like big, strong men. I look like ET. I've got skinny arms, skinny legs.
Don't play yourself down.
And I've got like a bit of a belly. So I look at my mates and I'm like, I'm going to run 100K. They're like, you're fucking mad. I'm like, no. I'm going to do it. We're going to we're just going to start this conversation and we're going to show crew that are going through a tough time that there's like a group of dudes and girls that are going to throw themselves at this challenge that at some stage you're going to need to ask for help, and we're going to show that that's okay.
Yeah.
My mates are like, we're not running 100K. I'm like, I'm not asking you to. I just want you to be on the bus with me.
Yeah.
Get on the bus, run 5K, get back on the bus, run 10, do whatever. I just want you around me because I need a network. I need that support because I'm not doing this on my own.
Yeah.
I need you around me. So we have 15 mates, jumped on a minibus. I'd never run over 30K before. Got caught up in the fundraising, was doing like the local newspaper, like, hey, come out and support this event. We're raising funds for Movember. Want you there. Didn't really trained, but did like one 30K run beforehand.
Yeah.
Got 15 mates onto a minibus. My parents were driving a support car, which was incredible. So it took us 12 hours. I ran from a town just outside of Dunkeld in the Grampians all the way through Halls Gap and then finished in Stawell. And it had people that had never run over 5K before that ran half marathons. One of my amazing, they're all amazing. But one of the girls on the run, she'd never run over like a half marathon before. She ran 55K with me, Keegan.
Wow, she's an ultra.
She just jumped in and did it.
Wow.
And she was with me for probably the bit where I was like, I didn't know it, but I was probably buckling. Yeah. She could see it and just kept feeding me gels, kept passing me water.
Gotcha.
And then I didn't know this, but she couldn't get back on the bus. So the boys carried her onto the bus because her legs were gone.
Wow.
She's like, they were lifting her off the bus. And we had a lot of people that were stopping along the way to like take donations and just wanted to be a part of it. People rode out on their bikes and they were with us. And I remember I felt good to about 75K. Yeah. And then the wheels came off. Yeah. Well, wheels came off. It was like 2012. I'd done a little bit of reading. It was meant to be super hot. So I wore white bike shorts, white singlet to reflect the heat. Poured with rain for 12 hours, Keegan. Poured with rain. See the colour of my hair? I had no undies on. Yeah. So it was, boys, who's got a pair of undies? Because this is now see-through. Yeah. The stuff that I had on see protective is it's not doing anything. It's not fucking working for me. Yeah. And then when we got to like 75K, and then my mum got out of one of the support cars and she just put her arm around me and started running with me. And I looked at Mum and I was like, fuck, I don't think I can run anymore. And Mum's like, that's all right. She's like, just walk. And I was like, no, I've told everybody that we're going to run from point A to point B. Mum's like, it's not about the running, mate. Yeah. It's just about getting from one point to the other. And I remember looking at my mum and just thinking like, holy hell, you're so right. Yeah. It's just about getting from point A to point B and starting a conversation for people in our community to go, you know what? I'm having a shit time. I need help. And where we finished the run was at a local harness racing event, because I was like, right, how can we maximize the amount of people to like get some eyeballs and maybe shake the tins? So we finished at a local harness racing meeting, and it was quite incredible the amount of people that came out to welcome us into the town and to welcome us to the event. And we had people, Keegan, that were going through chemotherapy that had walked out to just fucking shake our hand to say, thank you so much, boys. Wasn't going to go another round of chemo, but saw what you're doing in the lead up, and we're still in the fight. And I'm like, I was physically and emotionally broken.
Yeah.
Thinking about my two mates that are no longer here as to this is what we're doing. And one of the boys just looked at me and he like squeezed me on the neck and he's like, this is why.
Man.
This is why we're doing it.
Right.
And it was crazy because this conversation that we wanted to start, well, it had worked. Our little small town, the conversation was starting to like reverberate through. And we're walking after the event. I made this grand statement. Local pub was a sponsor. And I was like, right, we're going back to the pub. I'm just going home to have a shower first, but we'll see you all at the pub. I fucking never made it to the home. And I walked out and I was with my dad. My dad's, he looks like Mario. He's half Italian, he's half Irish. Yeah. It's like not follically challenged. And I put my arm around Dad as we were walking out and he's like, right, mate, got to tell you something. And I was like, yeah. What's up? He's like, if you ever decide to do something like this again, can you get a fucking automatic for me? I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, my foot has been on and off the clutch for 12 hours. He's like, we're going up a hill and we're slowing down. He's like, I'm on the clutch, I'm off the clutch. He's like, you wouldn't believe I saw my leggies. And I'm like,
mate,
Dad, I've just run for 12 hours, mate. And you're worried about like not being sore from on and off this clutch? But he looked at me, he goes, no. In all seriousness, he goes, I just got to thank you. And I was like, no, I need to thank you, mate. You've just looked after me for like 12 hours and have been this incredible role model for me throughout my life. Yeah. And he goes, well, only your mum knows this, but he's like, I've got depression. And I looked at Dad and I was like, mate, thanks for telling me. He's like, yeah. He's like, I've battled it since I was in my 20s. And he goes, my generation, we just don't talk about it. Mate. He said, I see what you and the boys have been doing for Movember. And he goes, I had to tell you. So there you go. And I just remember being like, holy fuck, this conversation that we wanted to start has just hit me right at home.
Literally at home.
Literally right at home.
Yeah.
And it's weird how just relationships change. Literally from that, my dad and I have always been best mates. Yeah. Have always been like best mates.
Yeah.
He's an amazing husband to mum, amazing father to my sister and I. He loves very deeply to those around him. And he does a lot for all of us and has done a lot for me growing up. And I just thought, fuck, wow, it's taken you so many years to feel comfortable in sharing that with me. But our relationship from that moment, it just went to a different level.
How so?
Where there's no, I'll get like Dad's got a mobile phone, it's always turned off, loves a laptop, loves Facebook Messenger. Yeah. I'll get a message from Dad, and he's like, hey, how you going? And I'm like, it's probably code for me to check in.
Gotcha.
Hey, how are you? What's up? We now have these more open, honest is a word that gets thrown around a lot, where why can't they just be conversations?
Yeah.
Why can't these open and honest conversations just be the norm? Where Dad and I now have these very open and honest, raw conversations. Hey, Dad, I'm having a tough time at work at the moment. This is what's going on. Or, hey, I'm feeling a little unsure of myself. Yeah. Or I'm not sure that this is something I want to be doing. Or, hey, you know what? Like, started dating Tess and I said, fuck, Dad, like, I think I'm in love. Yeah. You know, like I'm there. Like I'm there. He's like, that's amazing. Have you told her? Well, fuck. Yes, but kind of no. Yeah. He's like, well, maybe you need to tell her how you really feel. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Dad. So from this moment of Dad being open and vulnerable after, 12 hours of him working his leg out on the clutch, for him to say, yeah, you know what, this is something that I have battled since my 20s. And now he'll say, oh yeah, I think I need to get out on the bike. Awesome. You do, Dad. Yeah. Because it's a tool.
Sure.
It's a tool in Dad's toolkit. How does he process some of his thoughts, feelings and emotions? It's by getting out. It's by being physical. It's by exercising. And maybe there's a bit of that in me that how I like to process is by doing very similar activities.
Gotcha. Well, man, first, thank you so much for telling us, man. That was really, really beautiful. I knew bits and pieces, but I didn't know the whole story. And so I'm really grateful for you saying that. I want to zoom in like the relationship between you and your old boy, because I know a lot of our old boys are just the way they grew up, not used to having these types of conversations, can be tough, obviously from their parents passed down. Does it take having to run 100 kilometers to have that relationship? I'm trying to think like, how do we get there? How, for the other people who are listening, how do we build a relationship? I'm thinking particularly with a father figure or a role model in our life. Yeah. How do we build that relationship with someone who's not particularly there yet?
Yeah, I think it's I think you hit the nail on the head. Is how do we build that relationship?
Yeah,
I think it's a we thing.
Gotcha.
I think we need to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we our father figures, our dads, our grandfathers, whoever they may be. I think there's a big part that, they're our mentors, they're people we look up to. I think it's the opportunity for us to take on that mantle, to be their mentor, to lead them in a conversation as to how they can express their thoughts, their feelings, and their emotions.
Can be scary sometimes.
Can be scary, mate, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the piece that helps a lot with that is by going first. So your parents, your father figures, your loved ones, they're always going to be there for you. So when you go first into the conversation, it opens that space up for them to be, not that they're not, but to be loving, caring, and supportive.
Yeah.
And it also gives them the confidence to go, yeah, you know what? Keegan's just opened up. He's told me about X. He's told me about Y. I can do that too.
Yeah.
And with wasn't like a light switch with Dad. It takes time.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And there was times where I'd be frustrated because I'm like, I fucking know there's something going on. You stop talking to me. Fucking talk to me.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's about like planting that seed.
Yeah.
Keep planting the seeds.
Gotcha.
Keep planting the seeds because they're going to grow. They're going to sprout. They're going to flourish. And it's just that continuous, we're going to plant this seed. Hey, you know what? Oh, I'm experiencing this in my relationship, Dad.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in 2 days' time, Dad's like, oh, you know what? Your bloody mother's done this, or I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
Huh, there you go. It's now starting to like break through. So how do we do it? I think we take on a bit of that mentor role and we go first.
Yeah, I love that.
We show them that, hey, you know, this is okay.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
And do it in settings that you and your dad are in all the time.
Yeah.
I think that, I think sometimes our father figures want to, like, they think,
here we go.
Here we go. Or, you know, like they sit here and they're like, okay, so how are you going? Where it's not that, you know, you can do it. You can do it fishing.
Yeah.
You can do it on the road trip. You love watching the footy together? Have that conversation watching the footy.
Why?
Do it shoulder to shoulder where you don't need to be looking in each other's eyes. If that's going to help you normalize it. Have the conversation out, walking to the pub.
Yeah.
Have it on the way to the ground. Have it when you're like warming up to start a race, whatever it may be.
I'm seeing that similar trend. I was like, why are males and why are we better at talking when we're actually doing something with someone? Whether it's just like the man shed, building something together, or playing golf, or going for like doing something with like, instead of like, I want to have a conversation with you. Let's sit down and let's make it serious. Whereas like, it doesn't have to be serious. No. I always wonder, why is it about, like, what is it about doing something with someone?
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I think this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that there's the belief that the conversation is the afterthought of the activity. So we're out playing golf. We're not out having a conversation.
Yeah.
So it's easier to do that, whether I'm teeing off whilst I'm still talking to you.
Yeah.
Whether we're on the bike together, I'm not looking to your eyes like I'm now. They're beautiful blue. They're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I told you.
Thank you.
Where you're not face to face. It's not awkward. Like, you're not an awkward person. I like to think I'm not an awkward person. So we're cool with this.
Yeah.
Where some people, this is hard. So if you can do it shoulder to shoulder and pass the words to each other, well, it takes that. I don't need to let Keegan see that I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
He can hear it, but okay, I don't need him to view that. So I think there's a liberty or a freedom that comes with having what is deemed open and honest or vulnerable conversations
Yes.
whilst doing an activity.
Yeah.
Because the conversation is the afterthought to the activity, where really the conversation is the thing that's what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
I found not only from like the work with Movember, but also during these types of conversations, is that when you're more likely to be vulnerable with someone, they're more likely to be vulnerable with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did a podcast with a guy called Kalen Ponga in the NRL.
Yep.
And they would do these things where some person in the team would get up and they would share Triple H, so like a hero, a highlight, and a hardship.
Huh.
And he said it was really awesome because we really got to know that person. Like, so the hero is like someone you look up to. A highlight is like a really great thing that's happened, and then a hardship is obviously like a tough thing, a challenge, struggle that you've gone through. But he said it was really beautiful because we became so tight-knit and close as a team and had really great successes off the back of it because there was that vulnerability piece, and they found that other people was more likely to do it. Has there been any literature or research to back that up that you know of?
Yeah. Dr. Zach Seidler and our mental health team have certainly done research on it.
Yeah.
I can't speak to it
Sure.
in the moment because I'm more moustache partnerships.
Yeah.
I know a lot. Well, I know a little bit about a little bit. I don't know a lot about a lot. But those crew.
Where can we go to if we want to learn more about this stuff? Because I know that there's so many people out there who are just like, well, I want to be that guy. Like, I want to be the guy who my friends can talk to. I know, like, I want to do that when I started losing some friends to suicide. I want to be that guy. I was like, well, where do I go? Where do I start? Like, and for me, I wanted to understand like the logistics and the evidence behind it first. I think lived experience is great. I think that's one of the biggest parts of it. But understanding the research, if I wanted to learn more about it, where would someone go?
I would go to Movember.com.
Yeah.
There's amazing resources on there.
Yeah.
There's some amazing digital tools as well that you can use to help you in having better or greater conversations with people around some key themes: relationship breakdown, financial issue, loss of job, Movember Conversations, which is that tool. The other thing that our Men's Health Institute has just started, which is really now starting to churn, is a Substack channel.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Our brilliant minds at Movember, Krista Fisher, Simon Rice, Zach Seidler, Tom Mulvaney, there's a huge list of crew that are all now starting to publish on Substack. So where can you go? Where can you learn? Where can you get like researched evidence? Hear from these minds that are the best in the game. That Substack channel, which is incredible as a resource.
I didn't even know. Didn't even know. I'm a boomer. I think I need to get back on technology. Mate, there was another part that I am conscious of time, but there was another thing I wanted to zoom on because I think it's sparked a little thing in me as well. When you heard the news about your friend Watto, you said you were in the shop, you had to get on with it. You had to close the store. You still had to work. And was there a part of it where you kind of just like pushed it away to the side and not processed it? And it may not be, it may be. But then what would be a more healthier way to go about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. One of the first things I did after I heard the news, I called my friend Owen to get, confirmation, which seems weird.
Yeah.
Two of your friends are standing in front of you. They're both in tears.
Yeah.
But you still search for that confirmation.
Yeah.
I then called my parents, who were incredible to speak to.
Yeah.
And then I called my boss.
Yeah.
And this is 2009, and said to him, "Hey mate, I've just got this news," and he was incredible. And I think his response, the response that he gave, and I've actually never told him this, to be honest. The response that I got from him, I think, helped me be okay with getting on with the job until that job was done.
Okay.
Where he gave me the permission to just shut the shop right then and there.
Yeah.
Hey, do what you need to do. I'm here. Shut the shop now. Close it down.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do. And I think having that permission to make the decision,
yeah.
which I went, oh, no, I've still got a job to do. I'm going to do that job.
Yeah.
Gave me the permission to make that decision,
Right.
but then also to be okay with having those thoughts and feelings floating around in my head for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Granted, it was only like an hour and a half sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I blocked out those feelings or stopped the process of those. Mum's a beautiful woman where she will tell you quite openly what's up, whether it's good, whether it's bad, what you need to do. So her and Dad were both very supportive and encouraging of just like checking in.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you feeling today? What are you thinking about today?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I really miss my mate. And they'd wrap their arms around me and they'd just hold me while I cried.
Yeah.
That's all right, mate. You are going to miss him. Have you been out to see him today?
Yeah.
What do you mean? They're like, well, there is a place. He's buried in a cemetery.
Yeah.
You can go out and you can see him if you want to go and see him.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, okay, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's not weird. That's not creepy.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'd go out and I'd sit by his grave. I'd kiss his headstone.
Yeah.
I'd tell him about the week, or I'd tell him what was going on.
Yeah.
I'd sit there. I'd cry. I'd also laugh because I'm like sitting in a cemetery. I'm like 20 years old.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing here? But it was helping.
It sounds like allowing that process to take place naturally is the play. Is like the way to do it. And I think like understanding that people might do it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
When I first like came into this contact of like suicide and losing friends, first thing I did was just put it to the side.
Yeah.
But I didn't address it for years, and I like didn't go to the funeral because I just didn't know how. I was 17, like not unsure what to do, and I just put it away. And then it probably was like maybe like 7 or 8 years later where I thought I was fine, like wasn't even conscious, and then started the podcast and started studying psychology and started doing more in this space. And his mum reached out, Regan's mum, and was just like, thanks so much for the conversations. And then I just like thought back to like all the things that I hadn't processed yet. And I was like, oh, do you mind if I just jump on a call real quick? And we spoke for an hour, and I would like apologize. And she's like, don't ever. She's like, my biggest concern was that Regan's name would have been forgotten. And so she's like, you speak about him as much as you can, because we're obviously talking about Regan as well. Yeah. And it was a really full circle moment where it's like, well, fuck, like I didn't know what I didn't know. I sort of just put it, like buried it and put it in a box and left it. And then it came out like 7, 8 years later. And after going through that whole experience, like, wow, actually like having the ability to fully process it naturally and not being like, I guess, like ashamed of having these emotions, or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's a learned thing. And I think the only way that we come to learning these things is through like hearing about it, friends talking about it, and just being cool with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not it sucks and it's hard. Yeah. But it's fine. And we can have these conversations, and it's not weird and it's not unusual. It's just a conversation. As you said. Yeah.
And it's the, mate, thanks for, I never knew that about you as to why you're passionate about this space. 17's a young age to experience something like that. I think now, look where we are. We're a long way from 17.
Yeah.
And I think to that kid in the footy club that put his hand up and said, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
We didn't have programs, conversations. That education wasn't there for us when we were 17. So probably very normal and very natural to park that.
Yeah.
Because how do you process that when there hasn't been education, there hasn't been somebody that has had the conversation or shown you the way, so to speak. And I think that everybody grieves, processes in their own different ways. And I think the 100K run that I did was an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Just to go out there and to feel your feels.
Yeah.
And to what you said about Regan's name is to keep their memory alive.
Yeah.
For their parents to know that, you know what, there's somebody in the world that still loves my son
Yeah.
outside of his immediate family.
Yeah.
And I would like to think, Keegan, that your mates and my mates would be bloody proud of us, the conversations that we have on a day-to-day basis, or the conversations that we enable a lot of people to have. I hope our mates are proud that they can see the work that we're doing, and I hope that the wider community around us, the community of Movember, the wider community around the organisation as well, either picks up a razor and shaves down, they get involved in some way, they make a donation, they get a little uncomfortable themselves, and they get involved in this very interesting and fun month that is Movember, because it's brought us together. If it wasn't for Movember, I wouldn't know you. Look at the experiences we've had together in a very short period of time. Some of my best mates I've met because they grew moustaches. And we've got this common interest and cause. So, it's a weird and wonderful world that we live in, Keegan.
Man, I think like, I'm just thinking now, I am conscious of time. I was like, there is just so many themes. Like, I feel like we obviously, it was a beautiful conversation, but there was so many things that I wanted to talk about, and there's just like, that's part of it. And I know that Movember isn't just in November. It's all year round. And there's a chance to be involved in these initiatives and have access to these resources throughout the whole year. And I think that's a big reason why we're doing running all the majors next year, because that way we allow these conversations to flow all through the year, not just in November. And I think that's,
and not just in Australia either,
and not just in Australia,
across the globe.
Mate,
across the globe.
Thank you, brother.
Mate, thank you.
That was, mate, so beautiful. I know, like, we could have talked for hours, I think.
It's been a while since I've gotten sweaty in a conversation, and I just got sweaty. I found myself getting emotional, because I used to think when I was getting emotional talking about my friends, I was like, oh, it's been so long. Why are you still getting emotional? And it's just a lovely reminder that I still love these people. That they're still a very big part of why I do what I do. I wouldn't be working for a charity if my mates didn't die by suicide. Wouldn't have the friendships that I do if it wasn't for decisions that they had made, and honest to whatever you believe in, that Movember is the best place organisation to fucking make a difference in the lives of men and their families and their communities. Because we just connect with guys. For whatever reason it is, it's magical, it's wonderful, it's hairy. We just get men. And that's so important that we continue to do that and continue to have those conversations to make an impact, to literally do that, to change the lives of men and their families.
How you feeling now?
Feeling good now, mate. Like, it's funny how it just catches you. You know, I knew we were coming today. I knew at some stage I was probably going to talk about my friends. But it's nice. It's a nice reminder that these people mean something to you. Surprising that I got teary talking about dad, talking about mum, but also, like, it's a good reflection of the love that they have for each other. And what I very much strive to be the partner that my dad is to mum, and want to lead and live some of those values that they hold in the relationship that I have. And again, probably don't tell them enough what they mean to me. Tell them I love them every single day. Probably a couple of times during the year, I'll sit them both down and literally thank them for the lessons they've taught me. They get a bit weird about it, but I always think it's nicer to, and maybe this is as you start to get older, is it's nicer for people, I think it's nice for people to know what they mean to you, or how you feel about those people. I say to a lot of my mates on the phone now, Keegan, at the end, I love you. A lot of them are hitting quick, mate. They're like, see you, bye.
I did the same thing. Me and Declan did the same thing. He actually got me the first time. Declan, our videographer, first time he was on the call, he's like, yeah, love ya. And I wasn't expecting it. And we just started doing some stuff together. And then I showed him a message afterwards. I was like, fuck, man, love you too. And now we end every phone call with I love you. It's so cool, man. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think, and also telling people how they make you feel is awesome.
It's great.
Like, you walk, they get that compliment, like, well, fuck, I didn't even know that I was doing that for you.
Totally.
It's a beautiful thing. I think we should do it more often.
Absolutely, and it's free.
And free.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Keegan and Company, where it was all around the company we keep. This episode was powered by Famous Nutrition. Head to famousnutrition.com and use try30 for 30% off to feel famously good today. See you next time.